Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today I actually have a review of something that's going to save you money in the long run. This is something that's definitely going to come in handy if you're somebody who likes to practice, but ammo is just really expensive right now and hard to find. So we're going to be taking a look at an upgraded product to a product that I previously reviewed maybe 9 or 10 months ago, and that is the Hitz Arms Laser Training Bullet. I previously reviewed their original 9mm bullet. Now they have this new 9mm bullet that we're going to be taking a look at today. And believe it or not, they also have a laser training bullet now for 223-556. So we're going to take a look at that as well. So let's get started. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am not willing to spend 75 cents a round for 9mm range ammo. I mean, I've seen the aluminum case stuff go for 50 cents a round. You know, it's just ridiculous, the prices right now. And that's even when you can find it. Not to mention 223-556, $1.25 a round, $1.50 a round for just your standard 55 grain full metal jacket. It's ridiculous right now. So you can't find it, and when you do find it, it's expensive. But we still need to train. You see the way that the country's going right now. Training is extremely important. I have been dry fire practice training since I got into shooting pistols, really. And so I've been doing my dry fire practice all the time. And since that time, technology has really come a long way. And that's where the Hitz Arm training bullets have come in handy for me. Not to mention the fact that you can use them with the laser app. When you buy one of these, you get a 1-month subscription to an app called Laser, L-A-S-R. And that app is incredible. It basically tracks your shots. It does a lot of different things. And it basically reads where that laser is hitting on paper and allows you to see what your performance is at the end of your dry fire practice. If you guys are interested in one of these, by the way, if you go over to Hitz Arms, you can use a discount code DailyShooter and save yourself 10% on one of these. But these have become invaluable to me because the amount of money that I would have spent to do my normal training just on paper with standard range ammo has become ridiculous. This means that I have a one-time purchase and I'm able to train with it pretty much all the time. Okay, so here's a closer look at the Hitz Arms laser training bullets. Now, before these things came out, when I was doing my dry fire practice, I was just using standard snap caps. So a snap cap is basically just designed to allow you to dry fire practice without damaging your firing pin or your hammer or any of the internal mechanisms. It would just provide a little bit of a safety barrier, but it didn't provide any feedback. So yeah, you could pull the trigger and you'd get the click, but you know, you didn't get any feedback from that. And the laser training bullet allows you to get the feedback that you weren't getting with a typical snap cap. So again, here's the 9mm, here is the 223. And so what happens with these ones is it still provides the same amount of protection because it has that rubber backing on it, the exact same type of rubber backing that you would find on a typical snap cap. But that rubber backing is a button that activates the laser. So what happens is as your firing pin or your striker comes down and it hits that button, it provides a short impulse to that laser, allowing you to see where your hit would have been. So instead of just, you know, basically with a snap cap, you're just kind of working on your trigger discipline, right? Feeling the shot, feeling it break, and you know, trying to keep the same pressure the entire way through and so forth. This right here will let you know whether or not it worked or not, or whether or not you need improvement. Because as you pull the trigger, and let's say the striker hits the back of this 9mm, it's going to project out that laser, and let's say you're aiming, I don't know, let's say you're just somebody who's dry fire practicing, watching TV, and you're aiming at a light switch, right? If you are 5 or 6 inches away from that light switch with a snap cap, you wouldn't know that, but with this, you would know that. And so you can make adjustments in your aim, in your technique, in your grip, in your trigger pull, in order to get that shot to hit that light switch perfect. For me, I sit in the garage now. I have a target that's set up on my garage door, and I just have a chair and I just kind of hang out. I listen to the radio and I take shots at that target that's on my garage door. Now, it's really important that whenever you're doing dry fire practice and you're training, to make sure that there is no ammo around you. There's no loaded magazines or anything like that where you can accidentally make a mistake, you know, and put something that could cause damage into the chamber. You want to make sure that it's just you, it's whatever, you know, you're training with, and your laser training bullets. That's basically all you want around. You don't want to have to put a magazine in there. Now, the thing about this is you can put these into a magazine. So if you want to, you know, get rid of all the ammunition around you and then load these into a magazine in order to test, let's say, your reloads. Maybe you're somebody who's practicing speed reloads and you want to see how fast you can get on target. These will load into any standard magazine for both 223, 556, or 9mm. So what you can do is you can have you know, maybe just a dummy round or something like that in, you know, for the first shot. You take your click, right? And now you're practicing your speed reload. You have this in a magazine that's coming up next. You do your reload on target, pull the trigger, and then you can see where your shot lands. So obviously the first shot that you're going to take, you're going to be on target, you're going to be able to see that. But a lot of things happen between then and your reload. So having these, you know, having the ability to put these in a magazine and then load them into the chamber and then take your shot with all of those different mechanics going on, and then allowing you to see your shot and where it broke, to me, that's kind of an invaluable resource. So the way that these work is, again, I already showed you the button that's on the back that's activated by the striker or the firing pin, right? But these actually have that little notch that I was talking about, and I'll try and give you a closer look. You can see the difference in color. So the bullet itself, or the entire, you know, device itself, is kind of a dark nickel coating, so it's kind of like a black nickel plated color on it. But you'll see a little bit of gold right here from the brass, and that is just basically where the material's been taken off from the head. So if I can get that in focus right there, you can see that it's right there, right? So it's round, and then you have that little spot right there where it's been cut out. That's what allows you to not extract when you're charging. So if you're using an AR and you want to be able to charge it, obviously, to reset the trigger, it's not going to pull it out. But all you have to do is simply, with this one, what I've learned is, all you have to do is simply just, you know, give it a quick bump, and it's just going to fall right out of the chamber. It's not going to get stuck in the chamber, because unlike a standard case that expands when it goes off, this thing doesn't expand, so it keeps its original size. That just falls out of the chamber when you're not using it. The 9mm, however, I found there's two different ways to insert and take this thing out. So if you want to be able to use the extractor, you simply insert it into the pistol with the shelf facing the extractor. So that way the extractor has something to hook onto and yank it out. If you want to be able to use it without the extractor getting a hook on it, you simply rotate it and you put it in so that the flat side is facing the extractor, and that's how it doesn't come out. So just like with our 9mm right here, if I want to take this thing and put it in, all I have to do is, again, just check to make sure that it's safe, take a look at my chamber and so forth, make sure that I have the shaved off side right here facing the extractor. This is your extractor on a Glock style pistol, so I want to make sure that that's facing the right side, and I simply insert it. I'm probably not going to be able to do this on camera the way that I have it focused, but you simply insert it with that, you know, non-extractor side in there. That way, when you pull it back, it's not going to come flying out on you. Just like that. Now, with your AR, there's two different ways that you can load the laser bullet. So one of the ways is to simply lock the bolt back, drop this laser bullet into the chamber, and then bring the bolt back home. If you don't want to do that, you can simply take a magazine, put the laser bullet inside the magazine, put that in there, and then drop the bolt. It's going to strip that out of the magazine. It's going to load it into the chamber. But I feel like you get a little bit more control if you put it in yourself, because obviously this has the same thing as that 9mm. So if you put it in where you're going to have that lip on the extractor side, it's going to go ahead and yank that thing out of there every single time you want to reset the trigger, unless you just do a partial reset. So if you want to do a, well, not a partial reset, it's a reset without bringing the bolt all the way back. So in order to reset the trigger, so if I go ahead and I pull this, and everything's been checked for safety prior to this, but let's just go ahead and we'll double check one more time here. So everything's clear. If I go ahead and I pull the trigger, right, and now I want to reset the trigger, I don't have to bring that bolt all the way back. I can just bring it back right there. I heard it reset. Pull the trigger again. You don't have to bring it all the way back. Now, before I go ahead and demonstrate this for you, let me go ahead and tell you guys one thing that I've found that this is also good for, other than just dry fire practice. I don't know if it was designed for this or not, but it makes perfect sense, and it's worked out pretty well for me if I just need a quick zero. But it's a laser, and this laser goes in your chamber, and it points that laser through the barrel and onto, you know, whatever object it's pointing on, right? Well, that's exactly the same as a laser bore sight. So I use it for a laser bore sight if I need something really quick. Just put it in the chamber, I can pull the trigger and see if it matches up with my red dot or whatever sights I'm using. Again, it's not something that stays on like a standard laser bore sight, but if I just need a quick shot to kind of see where I'm at, or see if I'm really far off when I put on a new optic, or I change optics or do something like that, put this in, do a quick click, and you know, let's say 15 yards, I can see whether or not my sight is going to be at least near zero, so that when I'm on paper out in the field, I can make my adjustments out there no problem. So a quick laser bore sight works with this just fine as well. Okay, so here's a look at one of my targets that I use for dry fire practice. This is in my garage, it's on the wall. I use it all the time when I'm dry fire practicing, and I'm standing at about 12 feet. So with this target, you can see the target itself is green and white with the black checkers on it. But green and white, green is a great target to use when you're laser training for your dry fire practice, because you can easily pick up that little red dot even on this green target. So I would just try and say avoid just flat black, anything like a flat black target, and try and avoid anything that's red or the same color as the laser if you want to be able to see it a little bit easier. I don't think that really matters with the laser app. If you're using the laser app's going to track your shot, it's going to record it, and you'll be able to review your performance afterwards. But let's go ahead and take a shot at this, and I'll give you guys kind of a look at what the little red dot looks like. It's just going to be a blink. It doesn't stay on. It just blinks as the striker hits it. So right now we're going to be using a pistol, and we're just going to aim at the center dot here, try and hold everything steady. And there's our first shot. Another nice thing that you can analyze about these is how much movement you have after your trigger pull, or at least the instance right after your trigger pull, because if you see it squiggle all over the place, then you have a lot of movement, and obviously that's not movement created by recoil, that's movement created by you after the dot actually hits. So you can kind of get the still of a shot as possible. Obviously recoil anticipation is not going to be an issue, but you know, you can do just practice after practice trying to hold everything still and kind of see where you're landing. I mean, even with no recoil and no live ammo, you can see that I'm not hitting that bullseye every single time. I'm kind of up and to the right now, so I need to adjust my grip, try and get a better grip on it, make sure I'm pulling the trigger just right. And I got a little bit of movement down there. Oh, a lot of movement after that shot.